Welcome back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, and I got my linemate Matt with me. And today we're going to go over a lot of Blackhawks news today. The Blackhawks did their end of season interviews, and most notably, Seth Jones's comments, I think, are being taken completely out of context with a lot of some sound bites and with posts that are being put out there on social media. Me and Matt want to clear the air on that, and we'll go into some NHL news. So, Matt, let's start off with Frank Nazar scores a goal on his very first shot. I mean, dude, this kid, I think that he came in and was looking to kind of continue what he did with Michigan with the Blackhawks, and he just came out swinging.
Yeah, I mean, they burned a year on the contract for his 3 games. He pretty cool. He scored on his first shot. Last guy I think that scored on his first shot might have been Taze. His rookie season. I think it was against the Sharks, Nabokov. Pretty sure that was it. So hey, that's pretty cool company. He's definitely an exciting player, and I can't wait till next season. I hope him and Bedard end up being together. I think it would be really cool.
Yeah. He plays with an edge too. Who was it that was tried to hit him and pretty much just bounced off of him?
Yeah, and I saw the clips and people commenting saying, "Oh, welcome to the league." I'm like, "What do you mean, welcome to the league?"
Yeah, they were like, "Welcome to the league." Nice getting bodied or something like that. And I was like, "You freaking kidding me?"
Fought him off pretty much. I think the other guy got the worst of it. So that was kind of a weird comment, but yeah, man. Definitely, I think he's ready to go. Obviously, it's a lot different from the NCAA, but next year it's probably a good time. Jump in, Bedard, Reichel, Vlasic, Del Mastro, all these guys. It's going to be fun, man. A lot of young talent coming up, and hopefully they can gel together and make something happen.
Yeah, I agree. Not to mention some off-season signings. Let's get to that in a second. But Matt, Seth Jones, he made some comments today about, the Blackhawks, and he was getting asked, what he thought, and I think that he gave a very honest opinion. If you want to know what Seth Jones said, be sure to go to the Blackhawks website and watch the full interview, and don't watch any sound bites because it's easy to take what he said out of context. He essentially said, when he got here, that it was under the guise of essentially turning it around so that they can be more competitive. And it turns out that with everything that happened with Stan Bowman, he's gone. They bring in Kyle Davidson, and it's his ship, and he's trying to do the right thing. Kyle Davidson is trying to grow this team from essentially from draft picks and having new kids, and that takes a lot of time. And Seth Jones, when he was essentially signed this contract, that wasn't what he was signing up to be. I mean, he played for a middling Nashville team for years. Then he went to Columbus, which was essentially constantly in a state of rebuilding. And essentially, I don't know, a lot of people want to play there. They had one good season where they were competitive. They beat Tampa in the first round, and after that was it. Comes to Chicago, essentially having a career of playing the Blackhawks and getting beat by them, repeatedly. Comes to Chicago, now they're on the end of getting the beat downs, which I'm sure isn't fun, and it hasn't been a fun 3 years for him. But I think that things are going to turn around. Matt, did Davidson say anything about what he's looking to do this offseason?
All I got from him was he, obviously wasn't happy with all the losses, but secretly, yes, he was, because he's going to get a good draft pick this year. You can't say we're tanking on purpose, so he's got to say stuff like that. But he says next year he wants a better team with better points. He wants competition between, with the players for roster spots, which sounds good. That's good to say. And then he said he's going to spend a little money maybe and bring some guys in. So I don't know who's available. We're going to have a pod about, these UFAs coming in, or, guys, we might get some more storylines after these playoffs. Like, especially say, hey, the Leafs, if they get bounced, what are they going to do with Nylander? what are they going to do with Marner? You know, we might get like a guy that wants out, and the Hawks got a lot to offer now and cap space. So maybe he'll pull a trigger on a trade. Maybe he'll bring somebody in to play with Connor Bedard, and he'll be elite, and we're kind of going to start building within. So I'm excited for it, dude. I hope he's got that checkbook ready. Spend a little bit because we got a lot of space.
Yeah, and the reason I was asking is because, Seth Jones is, especially at his age, he's looking to compete. He's looking to get some playoffs under him, and he hasn't really had that opportunity. Considering the direction that the Blackhawks are going, I think that they're headed in the right direction, especially with a lot of the young talent that we have. Do you think that, with some of the things that he's saying, he's not asking for a trade at all. It doesn't sound like he is. But his first half of the season wasn't pretty, man.
No.
He also did have an injury, but and I noticed that he needs to play a little play a little better defense and shoot the puck more. He was shooting the puck more at the end of the season, and it started going into the back of the net, and we were getting some lucky bounces and getting some goals. And do you think play wise, do you think that Seth just needs to just start ripping it?
There's times where I see him rip it when he shouldn't rip it. I think he's got to make better decisions and make sure he's got an open lane, because there's times where he shoots, hits a body, goes the other way, they score a goal. Or he shoots it way wide, or he skates it in, creates lots of space for Bedard, doesn't pass it, he shoots it on a bad angle. So I think he just needs to pick his good spots. And it's hard. There's not a lot of space out there when you're a defenseman. You move the puck, you got to fire it right away. Sometimes I feel he holds on to it a little too much, but it's weird, man. I'm always a fan of the stay-at-home defenseman. I like the responsible guys. I feel like he's one-dimensional. I think he just wants to jump in the play, create some space, and lead the rush on the offense. But like I said, he's got to have a guy he's got to have a Brent Seabrook with him. If you're going to be Duncan Keith and get caught pinching a lot, you got to have that good partner. Maybe Vlasic's that guy. He's young.
Finally.
Yeah, maybe he's the guy.
He hasn't really had a partner.
No, the dude needs a solid guy he can depend on. He hasn't had that. They tried Jake McCabe. They tried Connor Murphy. They tried a whole bunch of guys, and it just bad results. So hopefully Vlasic can be that guy. And I don't know if you heard with him, it sounded like he wanted to be here long term. He's an RFA. So that's another question. What are we going to pay this kid? How many years are we going to give him? And you know what? He's got promise. He played very well this year. Good stay-at-home guy, very responsible back there. I've seen him fight. I've seen him throw his body around. That's what you want, a mean kid like that. So that's another question Davidson's got to answer, and he's got to get that done. I'd get that done this sooner the better.
Do you want to go on to Vlasic now, or do you want to continue on Jones?
I'm with. Let's finish the Jones stuff because
okay.
I respect what he said. Yes, he wants to be in the playoffs. I'm with you, but you know what, man? Him and his agent probably sat down. Him and his family talked. Hey, you're signing with a team here that Kane and Taves, they're getting older. Duncan Keith getting older. Brent Seabrook might not be playing longer. He's got a lot of injuries. We brought in Fleury, Hall of Famer, goaltending. We brought in Jake McCabe. We brought in guys that we still got Brandon Hagel at the time. We had DeBrincat. We're going for it. One last push for Kane and Taves. Keith. They tried. It just, you know what? They failed. It didn't work out. Jeremy Colleton was a disaster. It brought in what was his name? King. He's the assistant now. It just wasn't, it didn't work. And I don't blame Bowman. I think Bowman tried. He really did try. He traded his top defensive prospect Bodequist at the time and a first round pick for Jones. And Jones was compensated very well. And he got term. We tried it. It didn't work. He's frustrated. I get it. He's a pro. He wants to be in the playoffs. All these guys want to win. They're hockey guys are competitive. They have pride. And it's just, you know what? It sucks, but he signed the dotted line, man. And he's got probably at least 6 years left. So, I mean, like you said, he didn't say he wanted to be traded, but I could see what, people do online. They make these little clips and they can make somebody sound like an asshole. I don't think that was it at all. I think he's just like, hey, yeah, you're asking me this question and I'm going to give you my honest answer. I respect that. He thought he was, getting something else, and it ended up totally kind of falling apart, and the Hawks hired Davidson, and Kyle Davidson is doing this right. When you rebuild, you have to tear down, you have to get assets, you have to stockpile so many picks, and hopefully these prospects pan out, and that's all you can hope for. And it sounds like he's not happy with it, but I mean, he's got to deal with it. And hopefully he shows up, comes back with a chip on his shoulder during the off season. He's working hard, and next season he's ready to roll, and he pretty much has a Norris-like trophy year. I think it would be great for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like it too. I'd just like to see, I would just like to, I like him being able to speak his mind freely, and it seems like he did. And I mean, I didn't get anything negative from it. Yeah. I mean, he just essentially said what was wrong and what's been wrong all season. He doesn't want to lose. He said that we've got a lot of guys on, 1 year contracts, 1-2 year contracts, and these guys who are on these 1 or 2 year contracts, it's not really a motivating factor for him.
Yeah, and it's out of his control though, because
he's
a player and he's just gotta go to war and be a soldier. It is out of his control.
It is out of his control, but he's saying like this is a problem, and this is why we're getting some of the results that we're getting. Essentially, this team is built to tank. He doesn't want it tank. He's saying what's wrong and why it's not working, which essentially he's right. So purposely, I think that this team was put together this way so that we could get another good draft pick this year. But I think it's on after this year, man. I think that they're be looking to bring up some of the kids next year, and we're going to bring up bring in some better guys to take a run at a wild card spot.
I don't think we're there yet. I think we're going to be better than next year. Obviously, we're going to have some. We get Taylor Hall he's a good player. He is. And I think if he could stay healthy, him and Bedard can create something good. I think we got to try to bring in some better free agents. So if we can, land a guy that's a top dude, and we're like we got that Winter Classic game. That's a big stage. You want to have some big names when you're advertising, Bedard's obviously going to be the face of that, but you want to surround him with some decent talent. And, you're not going to have all these draft picks. It's not going to be a team of prospects that are, some guys aren't going to pan out, and you got to bring in free agents like, Marian Hossa, Brian Campbell, like those type of guys. You're not going to have a fully produced, like, draft. You were drafted by the Blackhawks and now you're coming up with. It's not going to be a team like that at all. So I'm hoping. We got to do something with the free agencies coming up. I think we should see what guy would fit. I really like that kid Marchessault on Vegas. I think he's a great player. And I think they're going to get bounced in the first round, and they might move guys because they brought in like an army of guys that I don't know how they can afford it. And that dude's probably going to be the odd man out. I'd actually like to see the Hawks go for a guy like that. I think he would fit well with a guy like Bedard. But, I think Davidson, spend some money, surround the team, bring up your prospects, hope, call up guys mid-season like, I think you got to give Reichel another shot. I don't know if you saw that last goal he scored with the Kings, man. He skated through everybody, and it was unbelievable speed, great deke, and that's what they need out of Reichel. They need Reichel to be like, nope, dude, this is my time. I'm taking it over. He I don't know if you saw it, dude. It was a phenomenal goal. but we just need guys to step up, and we got to surround them. We got to spend some money. I think that'll make Jones happy too. You got a guy coming in on a 4-year deal like that. And like I said earlier, say the Leafs get bounced, which they probably will. They sign Nylander to that deal, and Mitch Marner could be available. They could say, you know what, we're sick of this. This isn't working. This is year 5 with this core. We're getting bounced early. It's just not working. Maybe, the Hawks get involved and bring in a big name player to play with Bedard. It would be unbelievable. So I think that he's got to be aggressive.
What about Vlasic, man? I'm looking at a bridge deal for him, 3 to 4 years at $7 million.
I would love that. I wish there was a rule in the NHL. When you're an RFA coming off an entry level contract, you have to take a bridge deal with between 3 to 4 years. But now these kids want term, and they want the best, the highest they're going to get. So this is a tough one for me. Stay-at-home defenseman, it's hard to price.
He's their best developed defenseman that they've had in the past 7 years.
I would say let's give him a 4-year deal.
It's last 10 years, he's their best developed defenseman.
And he's a hometown kid. You like to see that.
Hometown kid.
I would like to see if maybe a $4 to $5 million range of 4 years. I think would be fair. But I could see him getting a 6 for 6 year deal too. $6 million for 6 years.
Okay.
But hey, I'm fine with that because that's low in my opinion. Like that cap's going to go
He was
up.
our best defenseman.
Yeah, for sure he was.
He was our best defenseman this year. And I think that considering what some of the other guys are getting, I think that he might ask for 7.
He could, and he could get it with the cap space. But that's what Davidson has to really be careful with, because he's throwing money around to like Mrazek, Dickinson, who's really good this year, and he deserved it. I think he deserves that. Yeah,
Dickinson. Yeah, I thought so too.
Foligno's got his little 2-year extension, but Foligno brings so much more than all the guys. He's got the leadership.
Right.
He's off ice, unbelievable. On ice, unbelievable. On the bench, unbelievable. It's just that's a guy you want around these young guys. They're gonna say, you know what? When they hoist that cup, they're gonna be like, you know what? When I was young, I had a guy like Nick Foligno next to me, showing me the ropes, and I really respected that. And like Jonathan Toews said, I sat next to Marty Lapointe. Guys won everywhere. He was a monster with Detroit, good leader, taught me how to be a pro, and you know what? They always acknowledge that, and I think Foligno's going to be that guy. I think it would be great if he could win one with us, but man, it's gonna be tough because he's getting up there in age.
He is. I mean, I think that he could be a piece, but he might not be, obviously not playing on the top 6
he could
lines.
be in the front office.
He's going to be there.
So I hope, you know what I mean? I think he's a type of guy who could even be an assistant coach right when he's done. That's how knowledgeable he is. And I think a guy like if Luke Richardson's still around, he would be like, oh God, I would love to have Nick Foligno next to me on the bench for sure.
Yeah. So Davidson essentially said that says the losing like this won't be tolerated next season. I mean, I don't know how to take that. So what does that mean? Does that mean, because when people hear that, they're like, okay, so are we going for a playoff spot, or are we just going to be like, be in the middle? I would rather them go like, hey, look, man, we're going to try and make the playoffs next year. That's a bold statement. And you know what? That sends a message to the players too, where it's like, hey, look, we're not messing around anymore. Like, hey, we're looking to go for it. This off season, take some vacation time, take 3 weeks off, or what have you. But come ready for camp next year, because we're looking to do something. Watch some playoffs and get to know some of these other players, some of these other teams out there, because we're going to be looking to make it that year. I think that would send a message to the guys.
I agree with that. I think you should set the bar high, and I think you should say, hey, I drafted all these kids. I want to see what they can do, and this is the year for that. Hey, if they make it, great. If they don't, okay, it's fine. They're still young. we'll get another good draft year, and we'll add some more assets, and we'll be ready next year. But you can't say no. We're gonna be bad. Like even the Sharks, like they finished horrible, and it's just bad for the fan base. You're gonna lose people, and there's a lot of impatient people that they don't understand rebuilds. And I do think Davidson's doing it right. You got to do it from the ground up like that. I think he's very lucky he got Bedard, because that's just you got your centerpiece, and now you got to just kind of add the pieces around him. But you got the most important piece done already. Some guys got to do that like backwards. Like, oh, okay, I found my third line guys. I found my top 6 guys. I'm still looking for that elite talent. So Davidson's pretty lucky.
Yeah, that's hard.
He's pretty lucky, and he's made some bold moves. I think I'm still not crazy about the DeBrincat trade. But I like Korchinski. I think he's a solid piece back there, and it's tough to swallow to lose a 40-goal guy. But he played with Kaner, and his numbers weren't like that when he was in Ottawa, and they weren't even like this year. So it could have been a good move. Brandon Hagel's been a monster with Tampa, just an absolute monster with Braden Point, Kucherov, perfect player for that team, and I hope that kid wins a cup with those guys, because every game I watch him, 100 miles an hour every shift. The dude is such a Swiss Army knife. He could do whatever. That was a tough trade. I mean, we got Taylor Radish, and we got Boris Kachuk and 2 picks or something. Yeah, that's cool.
Do you know what the 2 picks were? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Was one of them Oliver Moore? I don't know, but it's hard. Like again, he's a top pick, but it's a big what if, And I think you traded a established guy for a what if, and you just gotta hope it pans out. The Kirby Dach trade I absolutely loved, and I give him A+ on that trade, because he knows the guy. He gets hurt, good player. He's big, but he doesn't play big. And Montreal, I don't know if you saw, Montreal was like, "Oh no!" when Frank Nazar scored. We should have kept that pick. And then I looked. Frank Nazar has one more goal scored than Kirby Dach this season.
Kirby Dach.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, so I'm happy. Jason Dickinson was another good trade. Good find, solid player. Hopefully he's around for the rebuild, because they were saying he had a Selke-like year.
He's blood and guts.
He had a lot. He's a Selke
blood
year.
and guts, dude.
Yeah. So, hopefully he sticks around. He could be that third line type of guy, or top 6 if you need him. He's got a good shot. He's got to use it more, though. That's the thing.
I think he puts in that Brandon Hagel type effort.
I wish he had his
when
speed.
He plays.
He'd be a monster.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't, but he puts out, though. So these are Hagel's numbers this year. 82 games played. I'm not surprised. 26 goals, 49 assists, 75 points. Something I am very surprised at. He was only a +1.
Yeah, that is surprising, because he does play with Kucherov a lot. And Braden Point, I believe he's on that line. But maybe they were flipping him around a little bit. But 75 points for a guy, I didn't honestly.
1.82 million.
I didn't see him being almost a point a game guy, and he can do it, dude. I'm a big fan of him, man. Big fan.
Crazy. I did not want him to go, man, but
that was
it was one of those things where they had to.
I think that really pissed Taves off. I mean, that was the guy that he liked. Taves said, "I like this guy with me. Keep him with me," and they moved him. And I think that was the start of Taves, like, just saying, "You know what? I'm sick of this shit." And it's sad, with the Chelios retirement this year, he wasn't there. It's a head scratcher for me. It's like, man, you know what? I think the dude just needed a break, from being around this team. And I just, I wish it ended a little bit better.
Yeah, I think Taser is, he might be still dealing with some things, which is from what I've heard. Not what, like people are fucking talking to me. Like from what I've saw on the internet, they say that Taves is, he's still dealing with some issues, trying to and just trying to get them taken care of.
Yeah, I would love to see him come back, but it's probably highly unlikely. When you sit a year, it's hard to just come back and be a dominant force.
I think he's done.
Yeah, I just wish that they made a big deal about it and had a like a little ceremony for him at the end or something. Like this was.
Well, they're going to retire his
for
number.
Sure he's going to
get
that, but I just feel like he should. This is a guy you want. This is a guy you want at the game every night. Hey Taves, we want you to be an ambassador. You need to be here. That's how I felt. You got we only got 2 ambassadors, Savard and Chelios, and Marian Hossa. He's probably considered an ambassador. He's always at the games, and
he has been at a lot of games,
which I love. And I think Taves needs to be there with him.
Yeah, why not? This was the best, decade in Blackhawks history, man.
Yep.
And when I say that, I'm not knocking the Stan Mikita, Bobby Hull days at all, but Stan Mikita and Bobby Hull didn't win 3 Stanley Cups. They were great, but they weren't part of the best decade in Blackhawks history.
I mean, they easily could have, but it just didn't happen. Taves got it done, man. He got it done. Taves and the boys got it done.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think that maybe once he gets his health taken care of, maybe he's trying to get his life in order too, in a way where, hockey's been such a big part of his life that he's not worrying about, an obligation to the game anymore like he has for the majority of his life, and he's looking to, I don't know, maybe get married, start a family, that kind of stuff. And as we both know, that takes a lot of time.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So
when you put that stuff on hold when you're a pro, I mean it's really hard to a lot of these guys like Jeff Carter, he just retired, and first thing he said, he's like, hey, I got to go be a dad now. I mean, I have kids, but I want to be there. It's a sacrifice you made when you're a pro that you don't get to see your family a lot, and that's hopefully Taves finds that too, because man, he's good dude, and I would love to see him come back on good terms with the Hawks. I just feel like it was kind of I don't know. It just felt like you like when you fight with your buddy and like you stop talking and it's like, oh wow, I haven't talked to my buddy in like 4 months, and then it turns into a year and it's like, shoot, what were we fighting about? You know what I mean? I think they got to get back on good terms because that guy's way too important to be, away from this team that long.
Oh yeah. And I wonder what it is. I don't think that there's anything going on. I just think that, maybe he was like, hey, I was hoping they would have re-signed me, but Taves didn't re-sign anywhere.
It could be bitterness. He could be a little, like I wasn't ready to go, but they were pretty much telling me that I was done and something like that. But
he was. Yeah. Considering how much time that he's probably having a hard time swallowing that pill that it's over.
I mean, he's a monster, dude. He's one of the best captains of all time. And
he should have went out, winning a Stanley Cup, man. And with the Blackhawks, and instead this long COVID got him.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Something that he's probably wasn't expecting that.
I think that got him, and I think these battles in the playoffs got him. Like that dude gave it everything. I mean, he scored 4 goals at the biggest game in that Ducks series, 2015. The dude just showed up. He was just a monster. I think that series alone took some life off these guys. That 2015 Ducks series was just insane.
Remember that play? I think it was 2013 when we played Boston. It was our last game, and we weren't barely even penetrating the Boston blue line, and then out of nowhere, Taves comes in on the right hand side and scores the first goal for the Blackhawks in that game.
Just Captain Clutch,
and
man.
It was like
Captain Clutch.
I think he scored 3 or 4 goals that whole playoff series. That whole playoff, like that playoffs, 2013 playoffs. Yeah. But all of them were game winners or or they were all huge goals. And I remember that, man. I'm like, man, this guy just scored a goal. Hopefully, we can, bring it back, and we actually end up winning that game and put him away.
I believe that
Incredible.
Taves made the pass to Bickle to tie it, right? I think Keith kept the puck alive, and Taves centered it in front to Bickle, I want to say, and one of the best passes I've ever seen. Bickle just was a tap-in. And then Q puts out the fourth line, and Kruger and Bolin do their job in, 17 seconds, and it was just unbelievable. But he had clutch
You know what,
goals.
man? I don't think Kruger gets enough credit for being the Bolin that we needed after Bolin was gone.
Yeah, you know what? 2013, Kruger and Frolik, those guys were just absolute monsters.
Monsters.
At freaking penalty kills. They were so good.
Yeah.
And Frolik, I was pumped when we got this guy because I watched a lot of Florida games when I had center ice back in the day. And I'm like, dude, this kid is so good. He's like, no one's watching him, though. You know what I mean? He's in Florida. At the time, the Panthers had like 10 fans. No one would go to the game. I'm like, this kid is solid. And then we brought him in. I love that trade. And he was an impact immediately. And you know what? He was just really good with Kruger. Those guys were just money together. One of the best penalty kill units we probably have ever had.
Yeah. Man. Oh, I wanted to say, yes, we got Oliver Moore for one of those picks from Brandon Hagel.
Yeah, we got to, hopefully it works out because I think they said he's going to play another year at college. But they said he was the best skater in the draft, needs to. That class.
Man, let's get to some playoff matchups, man. Did you do a bracket, a playoff bracket?
I did do a bracket, yes.
Okay. Well, who do you have? Let's start off with the Vancouver, Nashville. Who do you have coming out of that one?
So this one's tough to me. I know Vancouver's been good all season. Quinn Hughes, Norris Trophy winner. They had Pettersson get his deal. He's an elite centerman. They got a good, solid team. Rick Tocchet, great coach. He's been there, done that. I think Nashville right now, they've been in playoff mode for the last 2 months. So this was hard for me, but I'm going to go Nashville and
They
7.
do it every year.
I am.
Really?
Yes. I think they got the experience. Ryan O'Reilly is a playoff demon, and Saros is such a good goalie. I think the Canucks are a very good team. They got very good players, but they haven't really been in the playoffs much. And I think Nashville's going to squeak by and get them in 7.
I'm going to go with Vancouver for the exact reason that Nashville has been in playoff mode for the past 4 months. And you can only be in playoff mode for so long before the wheels start to fall off. And like Nashville's does every year, they're in playoff mode for the last 4 months of the season. And what do? They bow out in the first round of every playoff. So I'm going to go with Vancouver in this one. Next matchup, Edmonton versus LA. Who do you have going in this one?
I'm going with the Oilers in 5. They've had the Kings number for the last 2 seasons in a row.
I know.
LA, I think they messed up beating the Blackhawks the last game of the series. I think I would have put in some young guys, backup goalie maybe, and I would have took my chances, I believe, with, was it Dallas? I forget. Well, the matchups changed because Vegas, actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm blowing. It's actually Vegas is the team that screwed up. So I'll get back to that. But I'm going to go with the Oilers in 5. I think this is Connor's year. I think he's pissed off. I think he's got that whole McKinnon, like, I haven't done anything. You know, I got to win. I need to win a cup. I'm too good not to have a cup. So I got the Oilers in 5.
I'm going with the Kings.
Wow.
Solely because they have every year, man, they have taken the Oilers to the edge, dude. And I think that the Kings are like, this is it. This is our year. We are going to get past this team this year. And I don't think that Connor is going to have enough. He's a one-man show. And then after that, it's the Leanne Draisaitl show. So if they can both be magical together, it'll need to happen. But the playoffs it's a different thing, man. And I think that the Kings are gonna get past the Oilers this year.
You forget Corey Perry's a king killer, and he's on the Oilers this year. So I think the Oilers are going to be a lot better than people think. I think.
Okay.
You know what? They got a good coach. Don't forget they won 17 games in a row this year. The Skinner, yes, is questionable in that, but I think that they're due. I think they're going to get far this year.
Okay. I've got, let's see here, Dallas and Vegas. I've got Dallas in this one.
I also have Dallas in this one, and this is the thing that I was getting to. I don't know what Vegas was thinking. Well, I wouldn't want to run into a Dallas Stars team the first round, because this team, they got the vets that have been there, done that. They got a good, solid young core: Robertson, Rupe Hintz, Jake Ottinger in that. Man, Joe Pavelski, Mr. Playoff. This dude needs to have his name on the Stanley Cup. And I think Dallas is also going to go far this year. And I think Joe Pavelski is going to lead the team in scoring. That's just how good he is. He just shows up for these moments.
Yeah, I don't see. I think that Vegas had their Cinderella year last year, and I don't think they're going to be able to repeat that this year.
Yeah, I think they were a one-hit wonder for sure. I don't know.
They finally did it, though.
They did it. I respect it. They also brought in all these guys. They brought in Hurdle. They brought in this guy. And Mark Stone's coming back from injury reserve. How convenient. The Kevin Nash gif where he's sitting in the wheelchair with a fake cast, and he's like, oh, I'm fine now. So I just can't stand that guy. And honestly, I can't stand Vegas. So I hope Dallas beats him in 5.
I thought you were a Mark Stone fan.
I can't stand Mark Stone. He looks like he ran into a glass window.
Yeah, I could have sworn you liked him, man.
No. Don't touch me. I'm a superstar. Don't hit me. He lost me instantly right there.
Oh my gosh, that's right. That was against the Kings too, wasn't
it? A kid trying to make the roster, throwing some hits around, trying to make an impression with his coach. Oh, and this guy's complaining because he's had a lot of injuries. Okay, go play tennis then, dude.
All right, we got Winnipeg and Colorado. I got Colorado in this one.
Well, this one's tough for me because I'm a big Connor Hellebuck fan. I think he's going to win the Vezina. I think he did finish with the Jennings, though, the best goals against average and all that stuff. These guys are due, man. Yeah. I think the Jets are going to steal this 1-7.
Wow. You think that the Avalanche are going to bow out in the first round of 2 seasons in a row?
I think it could happen, man. Gorgiev, he's a good goalie, but playoffs, he hasn't done anything yet. So he didn't win that cup with those guys. That was Darcy Kemper. So
he had some good stats.
Very good goal, very good team he plays for. Absolutely. I just think Connor Hellebuck, if he's zoned in, he's one of the toughest goalies to beat.
Man. Yeah, I'm pulling for the Avs in this one. Moving on to the Eastern Conference, we've got the Rangers and the Caps. I'm going with the Rangers, unless they figure out a way to not play it half as good as they've played this season, because they were pretty incredible. But then again, we got the Capitals, who kind of had a really good second half to the season, but that could be it for them. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool if Ovi showed up like 2006, scores on every shot, tears it up. I just think the Rangers are too good. They got a very deep team. This should be the year they make it far. I got the Rangers in 5.
Okay. We've got Carolina and the Islanders. I'm going for the Islanders in this one, man.
Yeah, I'm going for the Islanders too, but I think Carolina's going to take care of business. Don't count Patrick Waugh out as he's a good coach. He's won cups. He knows what it takes, but I just think the Islanders, they just can't score goals. And in the end, you need to score goals. You can't rely on your goalies all the time. And the Canes they're deep too. And another player I'm really rooting for to get his name on the cup is Burns. Love Brett Burns. I think he's a great defenseman. He's got a good beard. If they need their goalie to stay healthy, Anderson has to stay healthy. So I think I got the Canes in 6.
Wow. You know what, man? I think that the Canes are a incognito mediocre team. I think that they play very well during the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, if you start putting bodies on them, I think it starts to show how average that they are.
Yeah, I could see that. See, with them, I think they beat themselves a lot. I mean,
they do.
I know their fan base really, really whines a lot when they're getting calls against them and stuff. But like, hey, dude, you're getting calls on you because you're taking the penalties. Stop it, especially against teams like Tampa. Don't give them the man advantage. They're gonna I think they scored 5 power play goals against them last year. It's like, stop it. Don't play tough guy. Play hockey. And I think in the end they do beat themselves, and they could get frustrated with the Islanders, dude, because they play very boring hockey. They're very responsible defensively, and it wears on guys at times. They get frustrated. They're hitting guys like, get out of my way, like a slash here, and they'll call it. And the Islanders have some guys that could score, but they don't score a lot. Barzal's very talented. Bo Horvat. I forget his other name. This guy. Oh, jeez. The captain, Anders Lee.
Barzal?
Yeah.
I was going to say
Matthew Barzal,
too.
and you got Bo Horvat. They got 2 really good goalies. That's what helps. Good, solid defensemen, Dobson and Pollock, and they got some really good guys. But I just think that Carolina team, they're deep, man. They're really deep, and they brought in Kuznetsov, good player. He's won a cup with Washington. Obviously they got their captain Jordan Staal, who's won a cup. Seems like a long time ago. What was that? 2009. So that was a long time ago. They just got a solid team. Aho, he had a good season this year. Teuws is like right hand man. Anderson stays healthy.
Average.
They're gonna be fine. But that's the thing. He's got to stay healthy.
Man. All right, we've got Florida and Tampa. The battle in Florida there. I got Tampa, man.
Yeah, I got Tampa in 7. I think Tampa's obviously they're battle tested. I got one of the best goalies in the world. They got one of the best defensemen in the world. They got the best player in the world, Kucherov. He's 100 assists this season. Dude's on a mission. Braden Point, score 40. We talked about Hagel. He's a Swiss Army knife. He'll do whatever he's got to do. John Cooper, probably one of the best coaches. This team's solid. Florida, very solid too. They made some moves. They brought in Tarasenko at the deadline. Sergei Bobrovsky's found his game. It's gonna go 7 for sure. Matthew Tkachuk's gonna probably be a factor in that series, and it's gonna be must-see TV.
I think that Tampa's going to win in 5.
Really?
Yeah, I think that they're just such a strong team, man. I think they're such a strong team. I think that they started off the season kind of
they were hurt. They were banged up.
Not to their standards, and they limped along for a while, and then they got stronger, and they've just been getting stronger and stronger and stronger as the season went on. They're headed into the playoffs, man, and I think that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I think that they're going to make an example out of Florida.
That's, dude.
Like, this isn't, it's not over. We're still number 1 in Florida type of a thing.
Yeah, you guys are good, but you're not us yet. Not even close. Yeah.
Still. Yeah, so I'm going Tampa in 5. Lastly, we've got the Bruins and Toronto. And man, I gotta have to say it. After what happened to the Bruins last year, on having this monumental season, being the best team, best regular season team ever, and then bowing out in the first round of the playoffs, I think that really stung them. Obviously, they took that to heart and they made an example out of the Toronto tonight, won that game 5-1. But I think that Boston's going to win this series. Also, I think they said that Toronto hasn't won a playoff series against Boston since 1959.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I got Boston. Yeah, I got Boston in 6. It's the same story every year. We're going to go top heavy, and then we give up 5 goals, and we blame our forwards for not scoring enough, but we never blame our goaltending. Nothing against the Samsonov. He's an NHL goalie. He is, but he's not the guy you want in a playoffs. You need a guy. You got to spend money on a guy. You spent all your money up front. You need a goalie, and you know what? They just every year it's the same. They feel like they're going to go cheap in net, and this is the result you get. You get embarrassed game 1, and it sucks, dude. And if they lose this year, they get bounced out. What do? You got to change something.
What happens?
It's not working.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up as soon as you were done. What happens if they bow out in the first round this year? Even if they bow out in the second round,
yeah, that's a loss.
What do they do, Matthew? And on top of that, what if Matthews only scores, say, 2 goals in the playoffs?
That's the thing. I mean, he almost scored 70, 69. He got incredible season. But
I'm a fan.
I'm a fan. Like Billy Madison, 69. Yeah, I mean, he had a great season. And the kid's American. Good for you, dominating Canada. I mean, it's awesome. But you got to show up when it matters, dude. You have to, and he just hasn't done it. I mean, you can't let that kid go. He will be a Leaf forever. They signed Nylander, multi-year deal,
season, maybe.
The richest contract in Leaf history. William Nylander. What you can't move him now?
Wow.
Who's the odd man out? Is it Marner? It's insane. I mean,
he's due a contract too.
If Marner is on block,
what if Marner
get it done, Davidson?
What if Marner doesn't score? What if he gets 2 points?
Well,
what do you do? This dude's due a contract, man. And he's going to want more money.
I just don't know how the Leafs are going to do this. I have no idea what they're going to do. They got Bertuzzi, he's coming off the books at 5. Max Domi's, they love him there. I mean, everybody loves Domi. No matter where he goes, the dude's an ultimate teammate.
Probably has something to do with Ty, though. Too.
I would keep him there. Austin Matthews says he loves that guy on the locker room, and I know they're probably not going to be able to afford Bertuzzi, but Marner, you got to pay the guy, and Tavares' money's coming off the books, and he says he wants to come back. What do you pay him? I just don't know what you do, and if Marner's available, I think if you're Davidson. You go all in and get this guy because look what he's done for Matthews. He's made Matthews a better player.
Yeah,
he'd make Bedard a better player. I mean, they'd be 2 small dudes, but still, it'd be incredible. I would love to see Mitch Marner in a Hawks uniform.
Next season is his last season on his current contract, so he can be signed this offseason.
He can easily get 12 to 13 million a year. No problems. Mitch
dude, how could you pay him that when you know that he's not going to perform in the playoffs
get it, though.
When you need him most?
They don't care. He's still going to get it. He'll still get it, and people will be like, we just brought in a superstar. We're going to sell jerseys. We're going to sell tickets. People are going to want to see him play with whatever star.
Yeah. For Bedard. Yeah. Yeah, Marner's 26, you know, so he's still young. I mean, he's practically should be just entering his prime. Yeah, he is. He seems like he's got a good attitude. Yeah, man. I just don't know where this team would go if they lose. And with Tavares, what does he come back for? Half of what he's making now? 5 million? That would help the team if Tavares came back for 5 million. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. All right, everybody. That's all that we got for you on this podcast. Me and Matt, we're going to be covering the NHL playoffs week by week because this is one of the best times of hockey and to watch hockey. So be sure to listen in, and we'll catch you on the next one. This is the Tomahawk. We're out of here.